Here's another video for all you rally fans. This is the Toyota Corolla from the 1998 season of the WRC, and in particular the Great Britain race. And this is made by a company called CM's Models, or CM apostrophe S. Unfortunately, the brand doesn't really exist anymore, so these are all used. I always buy these used off of eBay. There's no original box, but I'm gonna guess it cost $10 when it was new. And let's take a look. You have to add your own antenna. It only came with one. That's the original antenna. It's got a little bump on the bottom. I just added my own for the second hole. I'm alright with it. Alright, well, so this Corolla here, this particular body style ran between 1997 and 1999, and I guess it was the world champion for the 1999 season as far as the manufacturer's title goes. And it was powered by a 2-liter inline 4 up front. It's still all-wheel drive, making 300 horsepower out of that engine, so it was competitive. It obviously, won a few races. And then this was based off of the European Corolla, the 3-door hatchback, body code E110. For this 1998 season, it came in second place after a Mitsubishi Lancer. Unfortunately, I don't have that Lancer 5 in racing form. Alright, well anyways, you can see, this is a model kit, but still a real photograph. And it says Great Britain, which is this, but I don't know how long of a race this was. Maybe it actually went into the night, and that's why it has these night lights. So that's the only thing I can imagine. I did find an image of a car with similar lights. I don't know if it's the exact same one, but, well, there we go. It looks pretty good, I guess. Alright, and then here's our rear view. Let's get over here. Although it's the number 4 car in this photograph. Yeah, I guess it looks close enough. Just focusing in between the photo and the model. Alright, well, let's take a closer look here. So the wheels, they look pretty accurate to the real photographs. 4 lug nuts. Ideally, I suppose there would be some black paint there. But again, if this model was like $10, it's got a lot of other stuff going on to take up that budget there. It's got rubbery tires, no brake system, but a whole lot of air passing between the spokes. The rear wheel's not really turning. There's a lot of friction going on, probably with the body or something. Something's holding it up. Pretty funky treads. I like them. Unfortunately, CM's doesn't put their brand or what the car is or when this was made. It's riveted together, so fixing it's going to be a problem as well. Tiny little bit of silver and a weird little tiny exhaust there, just pointed downwards. You got these relatively thin plastic mud guards. I don't know if they're separate pieces or what. I don't know. Look at the printing here. I'm thinking they're tampos. I don't see any of that wrinkliness here. This looks pretty clean. This white paint, it looks smooth. I don't see any of the clear wrinkliness of a decal. So that's good. It should last forever, for a long time. These graphics. All right. So then there's some black paint around this blobby mirror, and then also the window molding. You got some printing here. Carlos Sainz, he was the driver of this car. Yeah, let's mix it up. Let's take a look here at the interior here. Sometimes they have some, harnesses there. You got some red harnesses, the yellow block, and some text on it. I just don't know about whether or not the instrument cluster has anything in there. I don't think CM's does anything there. No, it's just molded detail. But I think that's fine. Oh, there's a spare wheel back inside of there. Unfortunately, the roll cage is kind of blocking a lot of it. So, it's really hard to see. There, I guess that would be the best view of it. It's just facing us right now. So that spare wheel does look like probably the same type of wheel as on the outside because it's at an angle. I don't think it's cast into the interior piece. Yeah, you can see the silver roll cage is hanging a bit low, but not as bad as some other ones. You know, it's pushed up as far as it can go up there, but it still looks a little low. All right. Well, anyways, the front end. What do we have here? Well, we got, you know, clear lights for their main headlights, and then we got 4 for these auxiliary lights. But these 2 lights just seem to be, oh no, well, they are clear. I thought they were painted, but this is just a giant clear piece of plastic, and I think they painted the outside of it white. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Well, anyways, it looks very deep because the whole thing is clear. So that's pretty impressive. So you got, you know, a whole lot of clear plastic here representing the lights. These turn signals, though, are just painted orange. There's a little black paint in these vents here. Seems okay. And then, you know, the tampo printing is pretty well done here on the front end as well. There's even tiny little black slots here. So, sorry, I'm trying to focus. I guess that's as good as I can focus it. So there's a lot of detail just in this front end. This is painted black. Unfortunately, there's no texture. You'd think they'd put a grill in there. Some tiny bumps here. Some ridges here in the windshield molding. Really super thin wiper blades there. And then Corolla seems to be tampo printed. Some sort of like air scoop box, I guess, with 3 little rivet marks. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, I added my own antenna there. This side, there's a little printing on that mirror. A lot of sponsorship, obviously, being a race car. Oh, and this side seems to have the fuel filler cap. The door handle seems to be a little recessed here. No, maybe it's not. It's just a graphic. There's some details. It's kind of flush. I think it's supposed to be a flush door handle. Alright, so this license plate would be probably specific to the number 5 car. I just couldn't find a rear photograph of it. Okay, so that's very realistic. It's interesting. It's a red Toyota badge. That might be accurate based on the photograph I'm looking at. Number 5. All this printing here. Yeah, these are little pinholes for the wing here. In the wing, yeah, there's air passing between there. It seems okay. Doesn't seem too thick. So it's a pretty great model. I don't really see many major problems. Seems to be a couple of contaminants right here. So this CM's brand, they did a great job back in the day when they were actually in business. It's really a shame they don't exist anymore. I say it in all my reviews, but I just love all these rally cars. I never knew about this car before I bought this model. You know, I've never lived in Europe, so I didn't even know Corollas looked like this thing. And then, you know, on top of that, it was a successful rally car, so I think it's nice to have. So let's compare it to a couple other models here. There's a picture of the thing jumping, so that's pretty cool. Let us start with some road cars. So here's a BM Creations Corolla. I think it was an AE 100, so maybe the generation before. Even older than that, I think, would be the AE 86, the one that's known for Initial D and drifting, because it was still rear-wheel drive. I think you know, the AE 100 here, that moved to front-wheel drive, like most modern Japanese compact cars. The AE 92, sorry, I'm kind of going out of order. This one is the Levin variation, and that one's by Tarmac Works. This is by Time Micro. Sorry I didn't mention that. BM Creations, Tarmac Works, Road 64. Alright, so, oh, and here's a Lancer 5 or 6, I can never remember, but it's the road version by Tomica Limited Vintage. Alright, so there's a little plan view, all relatively similar in dimension. I guess they'd all be called compact cars. I don't know for sure. Alright, let's get these road cars out of the way and pull out some race cars here. Unfortunately, I don't really have any 1998 race cars, but they do have some plus or minus a year or two. Here's a 1995 Subaru Impreza, so 3 years back. That's also by CM's. Here's a 1997 Ford Escort, so that's only a year away. And then here's a, well, no, that's 2000. I feel like that's too new. Here's a 1996 Peugeot 306. So all these rally cars are by CMs. And then, yeah, I will pull this out. Here's a Peugeot 206 from the year 2000. So give or take a few years, they would have had similar looking vehicles racing around, competing against each other. Yeah, alright. So for me, it's another educational experience. I never knew about this Corolla. I'm glad to learn that it actually was successful. It won the 1999 championship. And I think it's just cool looking what CMs did. They chose to make a version with the auxiliary lights, you know, so it just looks like a crazy insect or something with all these headlights attached to it. Some would call it ugly. Maybe it is ugly, but I like it. I like ugly cars. Alright, well, I will continue to get some more CMs, so stay tuned, stick around, and I'll have some more reviews to come. Alright, see you guys.